Welcome to this week's weekly energy boost. We are right in the middle of the month of Scorpio. I'm sure you've gotten a sense already of what that means and how that feels. I'm going to share with you what's unique to this week's weekly energy, what we can do with it, and my brilliant colleagues will be sharing with you about one day this week that is so special. There are two people here to talk about it. How's that?
I feel I got the brilliant compliment because of your husband here. So
you never know. You never know.
Brilliant.
Oh.
So the truth is that the month of Scorpio, as we mentioned before, it's definitely one of extremes, let's say. This particular, the Zohar of this week is called Vayera. And the story is about, the story isn't always relevant to the energy of the week, but I think that this week it really illustrates well what we can get from it. It continues the story of Abraham and Sarah, and it's the famous story about how three angels come to them and say, you're going to have a baby. Now, obviously most of us don't hear about that from an angel or two or three, but the most interesting thing to me about the story is that Abraham was 99 and Sarah was 90. And even back in the biblical days where miracles were everywhere, they still thought it was a bit...
Very old.
Yes, they were realists and they understood if Sarah hadn't had a baby yet, the odds of her having one at 90 were null. So there's a whole discussion that the Zohar goes into that, on one hand, Abraham and Sarah, these huge souls, right? They're almost the inventors of what it means to connect to the light. Abraham is credited with being the father of monotheism. He's really the first one to put into not only words but also practice what it means that there is one creator and how to connect to that force. So how is it that Sarah specifically thought it was such a joke, right? She knew that she couldn't have children. And yet at the same time, I think like we as spiritual people, we understand that the light is capable of anything, right? The creator is complete. There is no such thing as limitation when we talk about the 99% reality.
By the way, I can very much relate to this. Why did she laugh? Because if my mother, who is 90 years old, would come to me and says, son, I'm pregnant, you're gonna have a brother or a sister. Or if it's my grandmother who is 90 years old, I would laugh.
Yeah, but again, it's one thing if you heard about it 50 years ago, but back in biblical times, right, even the simple stories of the Bible are full of these, crazy supernatural occurrences. But on a personal level, she knew that they made a living, let's put it that way, they made a living telling people about the Creator, teaching people the spiritual system, the way that the universe works. The Zohar has a great phrase about them, which I love very much. It says at one point that they took all of the souls that they made with them, that when they picked up and moved to a new place. And the Zohar says, what does it mean that they made them, right? They didn't have 250 children, but it was rather that because they helped them connect to a spiritual journey, it was though they created them anew. They gave them a new lease on life, a new meaning for themselves. So how is it that she laughed, being the elevated person that she was, or how is it
Was she excited when she was laughing, or it was more like it's a joke? And
I wasn't there, I don't remember, but the impression that we get from the stories and also the sub-stories that come from the different books of the sages, it all makes it look like she thought it was a joke. Even if she laughed out loud because she was nervous, right? Sometimes we laugh because out of nervousness. Still, there was some kind of doubt or uncertainty that she had, and this is really what concerns us this week.
He probably wasn't laughing yoga or anything like that.
No,
she was practicing.
So the truth of the matter is that she's very much like us. I really relate to the explanation from the Zohar that she had no doubt in the Creator. Her doubt was in herself. She was sure that with her negativity, her fears, her lack of ability, she would prevent the light force from manifesting. And I think that, again, as spiritual people, do any of us doubt the awesomeness of the all-knowing, all-powerful light force? No, we know that the light can do anything. What we don't believe in is ourselves. And for me, this is a great week to, first of all, connect with the ways you know the Creator is with you. Everybody has the natural gifts or talents or unexplainable abilities. Some people are great at music or at cooking or networking or have a great sense of humor.
To acknowledge your gift.
The first step always begins with recognizing where the light is. And then to look at those areas in our life where we need to get out of the way. Right? We already have that partnership with the light. We already, in so many ways in our daily lives, are trying to strengthen that connection and reinforce that connection. So why is it that we don't believe we can take that next step in our career, or that we're going to find the right person? Why do we exclude the light from that area of our lives?
It's so true, and I feel that so many of us internally, we believe in God, that God can really do everything. But internally we have those belief systems. It doesn't always manifest externally. Internally I trust the Creator that the Creator is good. But then something happened and I don't trust that it's really good. It brings me down. Internally I know it. So just to connect that, to bridge that gap between what we know internally to
the way we live our lives.
The way we live externally.
Sometimes our laugh is kind of like sarcastic. Like, who knows how many times we laugh during the day, like deep inside, I don't think it's going to happen. But
right, like from a cynical place.
Yeah, from a cynical place.
For sure. And that's why, looking at the week ahead, and, not sure when exactly our viewers are watching this particular, moment, but whatever happens this week, know that it's coming to you so that you can strengthen that connection, so that you can remove the disconnect between what you're capable of and what the light is capable of. I heard a phrase a long time ago in my Kabbalah studies, without the light, I can do many things, but with the light, I can do anything. And that delimitation, right? It's not me that brings the way I bring the limitation is with my deciding I'm limited.
Can you repeat it?
I don't know.
It's so beautiful. I've never heard it.
What?
Never.
I say it all the time. Without the light, I can do many things, but with the light, I can do anything.
Which remind me a teaching from Rav Berg, our teacher and the founder of the Kabbalah Center, that all we need to do is not interfere. Because the light of the Creator, which is a positive, good force, always want to be revealed. And all we really need to do is to stand out of the way of the light to become revealed, not, just like Sarah, not to laugh. The light wants to bring you this huge miracle, and with our doubts, we can
so
sometimes
true.
interfere.
And even in thinking about it, eventually, she did have a child, and that child was a huge channel, and that, that self-doubt that she had, what was it for? What good did it do, right? Like, it's not, sometimes I think to myself, it's not up to me. If the light is going to work through me, if I'm going to be able to reveal something, that's the universe's decision. Like you said, I just need to get out of the way.
It's not spiritually productive even to laugh.
It's not our role. As people, do we get to decide if we deserve or we don't deserve? No, that's cosmic calculations. We just need to do what we can do.
Yeah, and that's a win-win, because when you do what you can do, so worst case scenario, you won't get it.
Yes.
But that's it.
Well put, very well put, and that's a good bridge to what you guys have come to share about. There's a very powerful day that falls this week. It's a connection that we've been making in the Kabbalah centers from the outset. And it's a very, I think, in terms of the Kabbalistic calendar, the Hebrew calendar, a very little known opportunity that the center put on the map. And that's the death anniversary, the day of elevation of Rachel and her son Benjamin. So who wants to talk about who?
I think that mother come before son.
Okay, so let's hear about Rachel.
Mordechay.
It's actually reminded me a funny story I find it funny. Hopefully, you'll find it funny as well. That every year in the different Kabbalah centers, this is a day of celebration, because one of the main things we get from Rachel is the power of protection from negativity, from jealousy, protection in the level of Malchut, kingdom, the physical reality we live in. And so every year is a celebration. And there was one time in one of the Kabbalah centers, one of our branches, that a certain individual just started to be part of the Kabbalah center, and she got a receipt of all the things because it was a big celebration. We brought food, and there was like a whole production.
Oh, meaning like an employee at the
Yes.
Kabbalah Center saw an invoice
Yes, so she
from
saw
the
an
event.
invoice and she said, "Who's this Rachel? Are we doing all this celebration? Who's paying for this? Is she gonna pay for it?" So it was just on the funny side. So really a lot of protection. And why is she a chariot for protection and blessings? Because throughout her journey, from the very beginning, the soulmate of Jacob the patriarch, she was able throughout the journey to put herself on the line, to be able to be first ready to give up from herself, and it's throughout the very beginning, since she met Jacob. Jacob walked for 7 years for the married to be married to her, and on the night of her wedding, she knew, being born to one of the most negative men that ever came to this planet, Lavan, she knew that he would try to trick her future husband. So they had an agreement, like different signs that they would know you're marrying the right person and not her sister. And just before the wedding, she gave her sister Leah the signs. Later on, protecting her children and family, protecting Jacob, protecting her sister from the sorcerer, from her father.
And she even wanted to protect him from continuing to worship idols.
Yes. And she also left the physical world at childbirth, giving birth to Binyamin, her second son. You want to talk about Binyamin?
I would love to talk about Binyamin. And it's very much connected to Rachel. The day of elevation of Benjamin is the same day of Rachel.
And it's the same day that he was born.
And Rachel died while giving birth to her son Benjamin, which is Jacob's youngest son, and was a chariot is one of the chariots of the 12 tribes. And those chariots, 12 chariots, they give us assistance to go beyond the limitations of the physical reality, go above the influence of the zodiac sign. So Binyamin gives us that type of energy on his day of elevation together with Rachel. And it says in the Zohar, and it's okay if I'll read just a little bit, just to connect with the Kabbalists explain that when we read the words, we actually awaken that type of energy into our life. So the Zohar says, Vatikra shmo ben oni. So as Rachel was giving birth and going through all the difficulty of giving birth and the challenges of giving birth, and she already knew that something is happening there. So just before Benjamin was born, she said, I'm going to call him the son of my sorrow or the son of my strength, which in Kabbalistic terms, it refers to the energy of judgment, or what we call the left column energy. That same moment, Jacob said no, because we know the name is affecting the energy of the person, what type of chariot he will be able to be. Jacob says no. We'll call him Binyamin, which is named Benjamin, the son of my right, which is the energy of the right column, which we know is the energy of mercy, the energy of love. So from the moment that he came into this world, into existence, he had that ability to transform sorrow judgment, darkness, into mercy, into light. Together with Rachel, they represent an ability to connect with the upper realms, with the, what we call in the Kabbalah Center, the 99% reality, and to bring that energy of mercy. What Rachel represents is the physical reality. What do we all go through in the physical reality? If your life is a little bit like mine, challenges, what we call judgment. Things don't always go our way, right? Are you with me? Yeah, does it make sense?
No, things always go
Always
my way.
go-
Always.
Yeah, also,
Always.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
know
about.
you too. Your life always goes exactly
Right. That's
as you
right.
would like.
Especially with
Thank
toddlers at
Rachel.
home. That's
Exactly,
right.
exactly.
Okay.
Children, no challenges at all. Yeah, relationship, no
Thank
challenges at all. So the energy of Benjamin, together with Rachel, that are on the same day, is that ability to bring the energy of mercy, grace, love to the physical reality, while going through all the challenges, still being able to maintain that positive, the right side energy, which is sharing, love. One of the teachers, the senior teachers in the Kabbalah Center once taught me a lesson I'll never forget. It was so simple but so profound, that you can be happy while you go through challenges. And for me it's not possible, right? If you go through challenges, you have to be depressed, you have to be heavy, you have to be worried all day long. So it's kind of a contradiction, and I feel the energy of Benjamin is giving us that ability, like to live in that contradiction.
Together with the energy of protection of Rachel. So
Yes.
because Rachel was willing to protect, then also we get the energy of protection with Binyamin, mercy, love.
Yes, that combination is what gives us the protection.
Yeah.
But what gives us protection is that we go through life with the consciousness. We don't lose the consciousness of who we really are, and our soul, our love, our sharing, no matter what we go through, and that's what brings
Yes.
us the.
And maybe we can make, maybe our audience can make a list of the things that they wish to guard and protect to receive the assistance of Rachel and Binyamin, not just for this day, but for the whole coming year.
So what can we do to maximize our connection to that energy that you were sharing?
So we can light a candle. We can see in a way, maybe there are people in our lives that we are there, as we learn from the Kabbalists. You want to be happy, make someone else happy. You want to have protection, see who can you assist in them receiving this energy of protection.
I think it's important to point out, though, that the red string that, Kabbalah has become so famous for, the origin of the red string, I mean, from our point of view, it's not red string if it hasn't been to Rachel's resting place and meditated upon, injected, infused with that energy that you were just describing, protection. She's considered the spiritual mother, or let's say the mother of all those on a spiritual journey. She asked to be, her family is buried in a place called Hebron, and she decided she wanted to be buried on the way, which for us is a hint that she wanted to be in a place where people on the path, on the spiritual journey, could connect with her.
It's interesting, even after she left the physical world, she's still putting herself on the
to be
line
available
for other people.
Yeah, and the resting place is like a vortex for the energy of that Kabbalist to tap into their energy. So taking the red string there, it's what gives it
Absolutely.
the
And
power.
for me, all of this, everything that we shared today is another way for us to grow and use in the best way possible the energy of the month of Scorpio, right? The idea that we can be dramatic and hysterical and, everything is the end of the world. But the truth is, with that energy of, the portion of the week, the idea that the light is in everything, and I've simply got to...
It's so easy to lose certainty and be doubtful during the months of Scorpio. This is one of the challenges of this month.
And that black and white, the distance between black and white, either it's amazing or it's horrible. and to really use this week to connect with, it's all amazing. Even the stuff that looks horrible. If it looks
That's
horrible,
the merciful aspect of Benjamin, to
so-
add, to bring it into.
that's what I love about
day-to-day.
the calendar, is that it's exactly what we need when we need
Very
it.
accurate.
So I don't know about you. I'm excited, kind of. Excited to face this week with the opportunities that we were able to share with you today. We're only halfway through the month of Scorpio, so you can look forward to more tips on how to manage the energy this month in the coming episodes.
Hang on. 2 more weeks.
So if you have questions or comments, any feedback for us, you can put them in the comments or email us at energyboost@kabbalah.com. We'll be back next week with more insights for you. Have a wonderful, light-filled week, and we wish you all a great connection on Tuesday night and Wednesday. See you next time.